Welcome to Mike Line. Definitely excited for this episode because I've been a fan of yours, I want to say since like a good amount of years now. I want to let you introduce yourself.
Yo, my name is Mr Eazi. Right now, I like to call myself Don Easy.
We are in a very cozy hotel.
It's not really cozy.
It's nice. Look, this is a very cozy hotel. And what's this, Flatiron? I guess Flatiron. Like same around area, in New York area, Chelsea, Flatiron area. One where you was talking about, so I'll definitely want to talk about, because there's rarely artists who are like, I see this festival is happening, I want to invest in it and become a partner with it in the business side. I guess what sparked the interest of doing that? And can you name the festival as well?
I think majorly first because I started out as a promoter, so that's how I got into like being an artist. Wow! Because I was a promoter in uni, so me and my manager, we were like competitors, and then we started doing events together, and we booked like Burna Boy in 09, 010, One Day Code, Davido, just like Sarkodie, R2Bs, like artists between Nigeria and Ghana, just because we were promoters, and that's how I came in. So it's like old habits don't die hard, you know. It's like, because not only was it business to me, it was fun. So it's like, I want to be there. So we invest in a lot of our shows. We go out there, we book the venue, which we promote it. It's like, it's in our blood. And also it's good business, you know, so. Yeah.
What is the business music scene in Nigeria, or just in Africa in general? What is it like? Is it like cutthroat? Is it like chill? Is it like collaborative?
I think it's like every other business anywhere in the world. In business is just sharks, and have to be smart. And like everywhere in the world, and it's big business. So you know, there's a lot of people involved. There's a lot of fast movement. You can't be moving too slow. You know, you gotta know people, friends with people, just like every other business. It's big. Music, entertainment is like, right now is one of the biggest exports, you know, out of Nigeria, out of Africa, with Nollywood, Gollywood. Then you get to the music, the fashion, you know, so it's pretty intense.
What was, I guess I'm thinking back to you being a promoter, because I did not know this. When you were a promoter, what sparked the change to switch sides to become the artist? And was it intimidating, I guess, in the beginning?
To be honest, I was looking for a new hobby. Because like I was bored doing parties every weekend. And then when I stopped doing parties, I'll still go to parties. And because I had the reputation, I'll then like have to pop bottles, and I was just wasting money. And at some point I got broke. So I'm like, you know, I need to find a good thing to do on Friday nights. And my housemates were rappers, producers. And so I just go with them to the studio. And it was still a hobby. But some of my songs will start to pop in the uni scene. And when I then have parties, I'll play it, and me and my friends will just jump around and say, like, only us will know it, and we'll rave to it, and everybody be looking like, what song is this? When I was doing my masters, I was involved in some business, and that would put a lot of pressure on me, so I needed an escape. And I didn't have no hobbies. I didn't like play games or play football. So that took me back into the studio to record, and I put out my first mixtape just as a joke thing. You know, and fast forward to 2015 December, my friends will come together in fact, from July to December, they will come together to fund, I think, like 3 videos back to back to back, just to convince me, like, this thing can happen, and we'll put some digital marketing on it, and before you know it, to start to pop off. March of 2016, I'll go to the UK, tour, do 5 gigs, make some money, put all the money back, make videos, come back in July. That's when I played that festival, Ghana Party in the Park. That's what it was called. And then I did my own headline show. I paid for the venue by myself, did all the promotion, you know. And at that point, right after when I came out to see the audience, it was at that point I decided I'm gonna be a musician. Like July 22nd, 2016. Because like as I came out and saw those lights on, I'm like, geez, I want this, you know. And all happened. The two events happened in the space of 5 days. So it was so much. Whilst I was just recovering from the festival, which is the next one, and so it wasn't intimidating because even when because like I already now knew I had an audience. I knew people would pay to come watch me, and I was already getting views on YouTube, on streaming platforms. I was getting enough money to put back into my music. So at that point, I knew like this thing is self-sustaining. So yeah. It was a no-brainer.
What when I meant intimidating, I meant you initially just actually physically recording yourself for the first time. Like, did someone be like, "Yo, I think you could just try it out"? Or did you just like?
No, it was more. I think the first one was a bet. You know, the first time I recorded was because I was there and I was telling my friend, I was like, "I think you should sing it this way. Don't sing it that way. Sing it this way." Because I know music. Like I've been in like primary school choir with the girls, and then church choir. Cause my mom used to teach Sunday school, so we'll join the choir. So like I learned a little of the keyboard. Like I could play basic chords on C. I have an understanding of music from all of that experience. So I was telling him, "Yo, you have to sing it like this. You have to, the backing vocals have to sound like this." And he's like, "What do you know about music? You're a promoter. If you can do it, why don't you come in the booth and do it by yourself?" And Kwame Keys, the engineer, was like, "Tosin." I was like, "Yo, Tosin, just go and show him out." And I went there and I did it, and everybody was like, "Wow." And it just started from there. So it was, yeah.
It was what was the date? It was the 22nd of...
Yeah, 22nd of July.
July 2016.
Yeah.
If that was the date you was like, "I want this," when was the time where you were like, "Okay, this is like my job. Like this is 100%."
Yeah, that was the day
that was the day
like, that was the day for everything.
What changed then?
Like what made me decide to do that?
Oh, I mean, what changed after? Like, I guess now that you decided it, did you were like, okay, cut off everything?
Nah, I stepped out. I had a tech startup that traded in phones, pre-owned phones. And so I had to step out of that, go back, tell my investors that, "Yo, I'm sorry, man. I'm moving on." And obviously lose my shares there because the vesting period had not expired. And so once that was done, and tell my dad, because my parents had even given me a deadline because like I was pushing the business, and they're like, "Oh, if by the end of this year the business doesn't scale to this level," which it had, everything started to scale at the same time. So going back to tell my dad that, "You know what, it's not, the business is working now, but that's not what I'm doing. It's the music I'm doing."
Oh wow.
You know, so it was just that. But nobody really questioned me and said, "Don't do music," or "Are you sure this is what you wanted to do?" They just believed that, yo, for me to say that's what I want to do, it means I know that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know.
When would you say is your first big break?
Depends. I'd say it was like Bankulas. You know, when I put out the video for Bankulas, I won't even say the video. When I think everything sort of changed when Jules, the producer Jules, hit me up on Twitter to tell me, "Yo, I want to work with you. Let me remix your records." Because at that time, I was en route switching off from even doing music as a hobby. Because shit was getting serious with my corporate life. I was dealing with multinationals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was dealing with the biggest carrier in Africa, MTN, and I had to open 20 stores. I had to operate in 20 stores across Nigeria. So like shit was definitely getting serious. And that was when he hit me up. So I remember even the artwork, me telling him, "Yo, go get the artwork done," and he would send it to me. I like, "Correct it, do this," and you know, he got the feature, Papi Kojo, on the remix, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I don't like it. Arrange it like this. Do it like that." He became like he was working for me or something, but it wasn't. I think that was the break, because if he had never hit me up, maybe all of this would have, the following wouldn't have like happened.
Yeah. And I think timing is also great because music coming out of Africa, Afrobeat, what they kind of done everything. It's finally, I want to say, becoming not commercial, but it's breaking out of just of Africa, where it's not like you hear one song and then it disappears, or you hear a clip or something and it's there and gone. But now it's like it's charting outside of Africa. It's definitely being played in clubs. I've seen more Afrobeat parties than I ever had before in my life. A lot of the culture, people are now visiting and trying to recreate the sound. Yeah. So do you think there's a place now where African artists can now become international superstars? Because you've been big in Africa for a few years, but now it feels like, there's like a legion or not a legion, a good amount of African-based artists making international noise.
Yeah. I feel like, once you're a star in Africa, you're a star globally. Because we're everywhere. If you have a hot song, if you have 3 hot songs in Nigeria, there's almost no country in the world you can't play. You could play, maybe it's 200, 300, 500. You could play every major city. There's no Nigerian A, B list artist that can play around the world. So immediately you have 2-3 records. In fact, you might just have one record. With just one record, you could at least play clubs in every major city in the world. And that means you could touch the world from get-go. So I feel like it's just like you rightly said, the difference is, like a couple years ago, African artists will travel around the world and tour. And when they tour, they will tour to a purely African audience or audience that's just from their country. And then they'll leave. And so if you're not from that community, you won't even know exactly that this happened. But now it's gone beyond. When I come out to my concert, it's not just, I can say Nigerian jokes alone, because it's not just Nigerians. It's Nigerians, Ghanaians. I've been to one of my concerts in Vancouver, and I was wondering who the artists came for, who the fans came for. I was once in Bristol, and I was outside the venue, and I was asking the girls, I was like, who are you here to watch? Because bunch of European girls. Yeah. And I'm like, why are you? I thought there was another, because there was 2 venues in one. So I was like, who's the other guy playing? Who are you guys here to watch? And they're like, oh, we're here to watch Mr Eazi. And they're like, whoa, when they start screaming. So obviously he's extending. Yeah. And it's exciting. This is an exciting time. It was like this, between Fuse ODG and the band with Oliver Twist and, Fuse ODG. Fuse ODG went up to have, I think at some point he had a couple top 10s in the UK official chart. And the band peaked at number 4 in the UK with Oliver Twist. None of that is happening right now. There's no actual Afropop record that's banging in Africa and banging that's on the charts there. But as chart aside, it's now, sipping in. There's club, there's almost no club you can enter without hearing at least one in the DJ set. So it's an exciting time to play, and I feel everything will come full circle in the next 3, 4, 5.
100%. And I think you're a part of the generation that's going to make, I guess, break the barrier of the charts, because the music is just so unique and also just straightforward, so good. Yeah. It's just that, come on, who you're not gonna dance to this? You just feel it, and it's just, I'm seeing it more and more where I can go to a Burna Boy show, and it's not just Nigerians, it's people from Ghana, it's people from all throughout Africa, and then also all throughout just black people from the States and UK here. Yeah. Then also different other races. It was just interesting to see, and it was at the Apollo, and it's like, wow, this is actually happening. This is something that's happening and that's going to happen. Do you ever see a Nigerian record becoming a top 10 hit on the chart?
Yeah, definitely. why not? You know, if that's all if people are dancing to it in clubs and people are playing it in their cars and in shopping centers all around the world, you're hearing it, and it's on radio, it's on urban radio. Ultimately, it's only a matter of time. Yeah, it will happen. You know, so yeah.
Do you think the surge of music is happening because of, one, the quality of music is better, or because it's more accessible because of the internet?
I'd say it's two things. You know, the quality has always been so good.
Yeah,
it's always been so good. So it's definitely not the quality, to be honest. I'd say it's two things. It's one, the internet has made the world a small place. So like obviously, it's traveling easier. Like Instagram is the TV for Afrobeats because you have all the dancers dancing to it, and then it's going viral, and all the DJs making Avengers remix. You know, you have from Instagram, you spot the dancer. Next thing you have, you know, Sherry Silver, you know, choreographing This Is America. And you have Donald Glover dancing Guara Guara in a song that's called This Is America. And she's doing choreography for everyone from Lady Gaga to the Kardashians. And, you know, you have Janet Jackson in her dance routine doing the kwaba. You know, it's all from social media. And then two, there's just a general quality in, you know, there's a wave of very successful African kids in every field, and you know, and wow, and unapologetically African, you know, and so they bring the culture to the office. They get in the office, when they control the playlist, they're playing African music. When they get into a club, they go pay the DJ or send him a bottle and say, I want to hear this song, this song, this song. They're playing loud in their cars, and it's not hip hop. It's Afrobeat. You know, that's what's happening. It's like the internet, and then there's just successful Africans popping up everywhere and bringing along, you know, the culture. Like I saw something today. I saw Nikki post up like a video of her challenge, and this Nigerian family was doing a remix. It was beautiful and it was hilarious as well. But it largely shows you that's the internet right there.
Yeah, I definitely, as I'm Nigerian myself, so I'm definitely. It's amazing. I guess I have a multitude of feelings because growing up Nigeria in America, like, and seeing how everything is being celebrated and embraced now, I'm happy because it's like, this is what should have been. This is what should be happening. Yeah. Since the beginning. And then another part of me is like, it's ironic because it was like before, I guess it was uncool. Yeah. Or it was just something, it was just like put to the side as niche. And then another part of me is like, is this good? Of course it's good, but it's just me being pessimistic. But I definitely see like the change in image of, or I guess, of African culture and Africa in general, where there's people now flooding to Ghana for Afrochella. Have you seen it? And like on your end, what are some of your thoughts when you see like people from the States, people from the I guess people are always from the UK, but has a better connection with Africa than us. But people all around the world are now trying to go to Africa and soak up culture and music, and now that's like I guess the thing that's cool.
You know, I always say success is like the most powerful magnet. You look at a kid who you will never fuck with because he's dressed like a masquerade, and then you see him shut down a venue of 20,000 people, and you suddenly want to fuck with him because it's success, you know, and that's what's happening right now. The success of Africans around the world and Africans in Africa. Yeah. You know, and because we're successful, now we don't need to hide. You know, the other day I had a meeting and I walked into the meeting with very small, very tight shorts, like almost bomb shorts-ish, like shorts I should only be using to swim, and like a jumper. And I did that boldly, and I walked in there to talk like big money. the only reason I'm confidently doing that is I'm successful. And so now, if I feel like I want to wear swimming shorts, so I feel like I want to wear pajamas, I'm going to wear pajamas. So that's what's happening. And that's what's helping people to be proud of where they are. Because now there's multiple success stories that it then makes you cool. You know, it's then cool to be African. You don't want to change your accent. Now, you know, I've been in parties where, you know, a lot of girls are talking to me and they're like, yo, I love your accent. And my friend who's not African, who's American, is telling me, yo, Easy, teach me how to talk Nigerian. It's like, that's what's bringing the girls. That's the girls' magnet. You know, that's what it is. So culturally as a people, there's Africa rising. It's not just talk, it's real. Africa is rising everywhere and it's going to affect culture.
I guess one thing I'm waiting to see is a huge festival start in Africa. Somewhere one is African artists as headliners, but it's like international, like like a Coachella, not to that degree, but like a Primavera type festival in Africa. Is there something that's like that now, or do you think it was something that can develop?
You know, it's like a lot of things that, you know, affect all of that, like immigration rules, ease of travel. Like even me, like to travel across Africa is like a headache. You know, oh, are you gonna get your visas? But as things are getting better, doors are opening, it will come to that point. Like for 2 years I've been doing Dirty Rave in Ghana, which is just a rave, like 5,000 to 7,000 people. Last year I brought gigs from the UK to perform, and Snakeboat from the UK to perform. This year I've not announced yet, but I'm bringing like loads of more international artists to come back. So, and I'm partnering Afrochella again to support them for the festival.
Oh, nice.
And then on the 30th, we're coming together to do like a block party, like block off one of the busiest streets in Accra. Just put up stage, lights, drinks, food, and just jam.
Nice.
Free. And you know the amount of people like you meet saying, oh, I'm going to Ghana for December. You even have big companies like coming to invest in live. So it's definitely gonna get there.
Nice.
It's gonna get there. Like, just think about it. Why do people go to Ibiza? It's because it's cultural to go there and just chill. So who knows?
What are you working on music wise?
Music wise, I think I just started working on a project. I think I started working on my new project. So the first record on there is Supernova, which I just dropped. And how I know is like when I'm about to do a project, I drop the most easy song. When I mean easy, it's like when I make music with E. Kelly, it's like most times it's like I'm lying down or I'm chilling. And we never done a record in a studio. It's like it's either I'm like this on the bed recording. So leg over, I was just lounging on the couch and holding the mic like this with the wires connected, and I recorded it. And the same thing with Pour Me Water. I was actually sleeping and he woke me up on a couch as well in the room. You know, and Supernova I recorded in Guilty's bedroom. You know, I was just sitting at the edge of the bed and recorded. And it's produced by E. Kelly, co-produced by Driscoll. So when I start that, when I'm that comfortable in my head to do that, then I know it's time to do a new project. But this time I'm doing a different approach. And what I'm just going to do is drop a bunch of singles. And so I'm working singles and then look back at the singles and where I am at some point, and then pick the records from the singles that go with what I'm trying to explain. And the new records are unreleased are within the same atmosphere, and put it together as an album. So that's what I'm trying to do. But you know, the last two have been like Accra to Lagos, Lagos to London. This one I feel is gonna be more, you know, multiple destinations, because like musically I'm kind of everywhere right now. You know, I'm everywhere. So I want to be, even like in my mind, I'm everywhere. Like there's not one thing I can point to that is inspiring me right now. It's just multiple, and I want to express that musically.
I love the record you did with J Balvin and Bad Bunny. Tell me about making that, and how'd y'all even meet?
I went out to I was booked for a festival called Sonar Festival last year summer, and then this reporter, I think her name is Sarah Rossetti. She's Argentine, so she comes. We have the interview in the room with me, my manager, and herself. And after the interview, she then starts to ask me. She's like, "Do you know any Spanish music?" And I was like, "No, I don't." And so, but I knew, so I said, the only Spanish music I know is that and Despacito. And then she's like, "No, that's not." I think it was even, I think it might have been only Despacito, to be honest. And she's like, no, you don't know Spanish music. And then she starts introducing me to Spanish music for like an hour after interview. She's telling me this one is from Argentina, this one is from Costa Rica, and my head is just blown away. And then she tells me that there's this girl who's gonna blow up in the next 6 months. Her name is Rosalia.
Wow.
And so she takes me. So I'm like, okay, what are you doing? She's like, she's gonna cover the festival. And I'm like, can we link up at the festival? Because she came to cover me playing, because it was an African stage at Sonar Festival, curated by Diplo. And so we went to watch. Unfortunately, I couldn't see Rosalia because we were performing at the same time. I think my stage was even bigger at the time. So after the event, she then introduces me to Rosalia.
Wow.
And then me, Rosalia, her manager, Diplo, we all have dinner. And then I become friends with Rosalia. And Rosalia then introduces me to more Spanish music. I'm then studio with listen to Rosalia's records, unreleased records, like everything she's been putting out. I heard it then.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she was making the album to the point where like I got so into Spanish music. I was then working. My good friend, he's president of Colombia in the UK. I then took Rosalia's music, her old music, to him. I'm like, this girl is gonna blow up. And then she then got on the radar. Like a couple months later, he's calling me to say, "You were trying to sign Rosalia. Can you put in good word?" But what that did for me is I just delved into that world.
Yeah.
And one of the people that stuck to me was J Balvin because of his aesthetics.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is what I wanna. This is the kind of artist I want to become visually. And so I go out to Haiti. I go play a show in Haiti. I meet Michael Braun, producer from Haiti, producer DJ. He comes to my room. We record 3 ideas in like 20 minutes. One of the ideas he plays to, the following week he had a session with Balvin. Plays it to Balvin. Balvin loves it. And it's like, who's this artist? And he plays Balvin all my music. And 2 weeks later, I see Balvin dancing to a record from my old mixtape on his jet. And then I DM him. I'm like, yo, blessings. And we link up and we become friends, like genuine, just friends.
Nice.
Like just chatting, laughing. He would laugh at my jokes or my stories, the same thing. And he was going on tour, and I just casually said, you know what, I'd like to come on tour with you. And it's like, say no more. Next thing, managers are talking. Myself and Michael Braun were opening for him on his tour late last year. And that tour really just exposed. I just saw how big it was in America. And that was the first time I was opening for anybody, period. And that was the first time I was performing to an audience that don't know me. Remember, like, I was spoiled in the beginning. Yeah. So it was humbling for me. Like, it had crazy effect on my mind because like you almost feel like nothing because you can't sing and just put your hands out and they're singing back, you know. But them fans showed love. And so we just started, whilst on tour, trading music on WhatsApp, ideas. And when they wanted to put out the project, he flew me out to Miami to finish some other song we were making. And whilst I was there with Sky, shout out to Sky, I played that record. And Sky was like, yo, I love this record. And I didn't even know Balvin and Bad Bunny were working on something. And so long story short, hit up Legendary Beats. We bounce back and forth. I'm just there and Balvin just sends me the record with Bad Bunny's verse. In the space of like 1 week, the record was done. The record was released. So
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's fabulous, man.
And then that's what inducted into you to the Latino gang?
Straight up Latino gang. He was telling me, like, I sent him a record yesterday and he was listening to it and I was like, yo, this is like your vibe, right? This is like Urbano vibe, you know. He was like, bro, I was like, I'm trying to join the Latino gang. He's like, are you crazy? You're in the Latino gang. You are Latino gang. I'm like, okay.
And then at the same time, when I saw your Instagram, I thought it was fun. You put African billionaire.
Yeah.
And was that a goal for you to be a billionaire?
Yeah, my big sister gave me this book on my birthday, I think when I was like 14, 15. It was John D. Rockefeller. And then there was this thing, it was called The Titan. And there was this thing where he says, it is his destiny to make wealth. Mm-hmm. Like me just hearing that, I'm just like, Christ, how can this guy say it's his destiny to make wealth? And like that stuck to me, and ever since, and I feel that was what made me. I always wanted to be financially independent, you know. And if I didn't do music, you see, I was already like doing business. So yeah.
I guess, do you see yourself? I don't want to say after the music, because artists is there's never such thing as retirement with artists. You just create when you have inspiration.
Yeah.
But do you eventually see yourself like becoming more business dominant, or where it's like, all right, I'm trying to either own a label or at a major, or get into tech or stuff like that? That's
You know what the thing is? The thing is, like, my friend Cheyenne from Toronto, just before I went to the UK to play the show that made me decide I was gonna do music. She too, like, she had always been telling me, you need to do this music. And I was like, nah, this is not gonna get me to my goal of being like super financially independent and touch 1 million lives. Like, this is not how I become the billionaire I think I'm meant to be. And so she sent me this book on my birthday, July 19th. It was about Jay-Z. It was a small book, purple. And it was like written about Jay-Z. And it just blew my mind as I could see him transcend from getting into music at 26 and to where he was as at 2016. And so I kind of just started to want to be like that, you know. And so I came into the game with that mindset, like, yo, I'm trying to be, you know, Africa's Jay-Z, you know. And that's why, and I didn't want to start a label, and so that's why I started Empower Africa, which is, on one side, I'm doing what I really want to do. I want to be, I want to get money and give it out, you know. So on one side, I'm funding African artists with videos. Last year I put in over $1 million just funding non-recoup, just shoot your video, market it. It's on the Empower YouTube channel. All the revenue goes to you, not a cent comes to me. And then it ended up just blowing up and becoming a feeder program for my label services company. So there's Empower Foundation, and then there's Empower Label Services. And just like they did in the VC world, where they fund you and get equity, I picked 2 artists from the 100 and I funded, and we have 80-20 deals with them, 80 to them, 20 to them. We offer label services from management to publishing admin to licensing. We don't own anything. We just aggregate. You know, so, and I think it's the brand in the past, since January to now, it's been crazy. We've had those 2 artists have become huge success stories. Joe Boy, with 1 single, over 5.1 million views, is charting in like 3-4 African countries instantly. Jidorobi is one of the biggest dancehall, is the most exciting dancehall artist out of Ghana right now. Popcorn jumped on his remix from his first record. He's played a concert of 15,000 capacity, and you know, with everybody singing a song, you know. And it's just, how do I build that? We manage a legendary beat, and now they're on the record with J Balvin, full production produced by them. In the coming months, you'd hear some crazy shit about Guilty and his exploits. E. Kelly has a top 10 record in France, you know. So it's just building. So I guess that's how it's gonna be. You know, Jay-Z still put out an album when, and he's almost 50, right? Yeah. So
is there like a infrastructure in the African music industry where it's like either there's like a major companies that can help an artist, or is there like infrastructure, just like, are there radio stations, huge radio market? Is there big independent structure where you can survive, or is it still like formalizing or?
You know, in Africa, it's 99.9% of artists are independent.
Yeah.
Because there's no structure. Like, you have to deep that Africa has 54 countries.
Mm-hmm.
And within these 54 countries, there's Anglophone countries, there's Francophone countries, Lusophone countries, and then the Swahili-speaking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even talking about North America. You know, so, and everybody has their own radio, their own MTV shown in East Africa is different from MTV shown.
That's all about, yeah.
Like, everybody's shown a different feed. So even cross-continental exportation of music is even hard as it is. You might have an artist who is filling up a 50 cap stadium in Congo, but he can't do a 200 capacity paid event in Ghana. You know, because we're not even getting exposed. So there's almost no structure. There's no publishing structure. There's no there's no label services company in Africa. Not one. You know, so there's the need to start building all of this, you know. And that's what Empower is trying to do. I'm trying to build that ecosystem. It's like, build the ecosystem. And when you build the ecosystem, you're gonna eat, you're gonna break bread ultimately. And if you don't build if I don't build the ecosystem, someone else will build the ecosystem at a premium and sell back to me. Just like somebody will go back to Africa and buy something and take it to the factory somewhere else in the world and refine it. Not like refine it even better than it would have been refined in Africa, but just refine it at scale and send it back to Africa. The same shit that's supposed to be sold for $1, we would buy it back for $100. I don't want that to be the same for music, you know, because I would have to buy it for $100. So forget, it's not just me being charitable. It's me because of me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to have to be paying a company to service my records across Africa for some crazy price, or do marketing for me for some crazy price. So I might as well just build it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess outside of music, what are some of your interests? What are some of the hobbies you like to do?
I like to travel. I've been looking for a hobby for a long time.
What's your favorite place that you visited?
I recently went to Palma in Spain, and I just loved it.
Nice.
I was like, geez, I need to move here. And there was this hotel that was like in a cave. I was staying in. It was just pretty cool. The architecture, I was like, am I in North Africa or am I in Spain?
Yeah.
You know, that's one of my favorite places. So like, I want to travel the world, like looking for an excuse to like go everywhere. I feel like that's my real, that's like my real hobby right now.
What's the place you haven't been to that you want to go to?
Tokyo. I want to go Tokyo so bad. I've been wanting to go to Tokyo, and I also want to go Moscow.
Oh, Moscow.
I don't know, man. I want to go Moscow, like, and it's so funny. Every time I watch CNN and they're talking about Russia, I'm like, damn, I want to go there.
You want to shoot an AK?
It's some like bad guy, you know, in all the movies.
Yeah.
You see the bad guys are from Russia, and like, it's like, I want to go see, maybe everybody is actually a bad guy.
Big debate I always get into, and it's coming up pretty much because I feel like somebody just had a contest. Who has the best jollof rice?
Yo, I don't even know, man. When I eat my mom's jollof, is the best.
That's
one.
what I always say too.
You know, my mom's jollof is the best one.
I think it was in DC that had a
yeah, I see
rice.
they had and there were judges, and
and I think
that's unfair because like it depends on who's cooking.
Yeah, exactly.
It depends on who's cooking.
So somebody from Sierra Leone made one, and I was just like, "Whoa, that's a curveball! Did not expect that."
I never eaten jollof from Sierra Leone, just Ghana and Nigeria. Yeah.
If you could work with anyone now, who would that person be that you haven't worked with?
I really want to work with BTS because there's this song they have. It's called Idol.
Yeah,
And when I hear that song, I'm like, there's a part in that song that sounds like gum. Like the drums. Like if you took that part and you loop it and I played a different chord progression, we could have like an afrobeat banger. We could have like a Guilty Beats produced banger. You know, so I want to work with them. I actually was trying to get them on Open and Close remix.
Wow.
Or the actual song, but it was gonna take long and I just wanted to drop the mixtape. So now that I'm back to, you know, recording, and I want to make this project, I want to make sure it's like everybody from everywhere. I want it to reflect me as a traveler. So I'm going to try and make that happen.
The K-pop is so interesting to me because it's such a frenzy. It's just like BTS, they drop anything and it's just like trending. It's so interesting to me. But the music's good.
Yeah.
The music is really good, so I always just like, and I never seen, like I never, growing up, I just never could see like a band or a boy band that big, you know? And it just be like.
I thought like them Westlife, because like when I was growing up, woo, it was Westlife Backstreet Boys. Like you needed to see me, like, oh God.
Like I could like see 5 people, but I think BTS has what, 7 people, 6, 7? I'm like, I just can't. I just was like, how does this work? But it works, and it works so well.
Yeah, you know, and like recently, I've been seeing getting a lot of love from like in the past 7 months from Asia. I was billed to play at some festival. I think it's YG something or YS something in December last year. You know, I was billed to, and when I looked it up, I'm like, this is a big festival, and the pay was very big as well. So I was like, huh. And then, for instance, Japan has been popping up on my Apple Music number 10 streaming city. I'm like, how random is that?
Yeah.
And I've been seeing like all these dance videos for the Aquaba record from like different parts of Korea, and all these dancers tagging me, you know. So I'm like, okay, I always wanted to go there. And last year I got introduced to BTS by someone on their A&R team who hit me up. They heard my stuff from Diplo, you know, and so it's like the dots are just connecting. Maybe it will be like, you know, like what happened with Balvin and Bad Bunny. Because I just see that happening to me every time. I think about something and then I just see it start happening. So
hopefully it does.
Yeah.
Final question. We always ask, if there was a young artist in Africa right now and they're asking you, hey, Mr. Eazi, what can I do to become you, or just make it, or become a big star, or just, you know, and make it in the music industry, what advice would you give them?
Just be you.
And her.
Like, just be you and be the hardest you as possible. Be unapologetically you and just go hard. Eat, sleep, breathe you. Like, that's just it. Because, like, that's the only thing that first they'll laugh at you and say you're weird. And then they'll turn around and say, oh, you're cool. And then it's like, yo, you're the shit. So that's what I'll just say.
Nice.
If you believe you got talent, and some people who are not your friends believe you've got talent, then just, your friends don't even need to, nobody even needs to validate you. Because there's some stuff I've heard and say, yo, this is whack. I think it's whack, but there's people in the world feeling it. Whatever you create, there's somebody somewhere in the world who's gonna love it. Like, people love horror movies. Like, I cannot watch 2 minutes. Like, why would I watch people killing people? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And scary movies. I never understood. If you're Nigerian, you know them Ayama Tanga and all those, like, back in the day, Mount Zion movies. Like, I will not be able to sleep. But people enjoy watching that. So that just shows you that no matter what you do in life, there will always be someone who's feeling it. So just do you, and yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate
blessings, man.